An absolutely loaded UFC 259 pay-per-view this Saturday. You don't have to look any further than that co-main event for a very interesting matchup. Women's featherweight championship. Amanda Nunes, the GOAT, going up against a very tough test in Megan Anderson. Megan, I think this is a tough test. On paper, I love this fight. Have you seen those astronomical betting odds? How do you deal with that ahead of this fight? I mean, you do have 4 limbs the last time I checked, right?
Yeah, honestly, I don't pay too much attention to it. To be honest, like I don't really understand betting. Half the time I have to ask my friends, like, what does the plus mean? What does the minus mean? Like does that mean it's a favorite? Is it like so I don't really I don't know. I don't really pay attention to it just because I don't really understand how it works.
Well, don't study them close this time around. Obviously, focus on the fight at hand. The reason why the odds are so large, obviously, because of everything that Amanda accomplished, and you certainly tip the cap to her, 2-division champion, recognized as the GOAT. When it's a fight that's also the biggest fight of your life, but you're going up against somebody like Nunes who is so dominant, how do you remind yourself that she's just another human and this is just another fight? Is that possible?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people have a tendency to fight the name and not the person. They fight the accolades, which it's easy to do, but at the end of the day, it's just 2 people locked in a cage. Those accolades don't come with her. So I don't know. You just have to tune it out.
Yeah, no question about it. Amanda coming in, somewhat of a layoff, fought just once last year, but she certainly has not been active. Her and Nina Ansaroff, of course, they had their first child together. She's been a little bit, I don't know if it's fair to say distracted, but the narrative might be this fight. Tell me if I'm crazy, that if there's ever a great time to fight Amanda, might be right now. There's been some whispers in the past year of how much longer does she want to do this. Do you feel like, along with believing in yourself, that you're a live dog here, that this is a great time to fight the champion right now?
Yeah, I am expecting the best Amanda to step foot in that cage. But it's, having a baby is a game changer, and you can't not talk about that. It changes a lot of things, and I don't know. It's you can think about it, you can talk about it, but at the end of the day, you have to be prepared for the best version of your opponent that is possible. So we're ready for that.
This is a big opportunity to try to put that into words when we say that. I mean, you guys are fighters. You're believing in yourself. This is a job, but it's got to be everybody's dream from the second you strap on gloves to the first time to one day raise that championship and get to this point. How much this week have you been thinking back to your first days competing in combat sports and what that original dream felt like all the way back then?
Yeah, honestly, I don't think about it at all. I just set up my Xbox to play. um, so, like, I don't think about it at all. It's been a little different for me. Because when I first started, the UFC didn't have a featherweight division. So for me, it was Invicta. It was the Invicta title. That was the goal, and I was able to achieve that. And then they brought the UFC brought the featherweights in, and so the goal went from Invicta to the UFC. So it's kind of been a little different. My weight class hasn't been established for the in the UFC, at least for the amount of time I've been training. So I don't know, it's been a great journey. It's been an interesting journey, and I don't know. I don't really think about it too much. Like, I don't get too much nostalgia. I'm sure afterwards I might cry. I don't know.
Well, it's interesting that you pointed out that distinction, that you've already been a champion before at a time where UFC didn't have that weight class. So you're already very well established here at 145 pounds. Is it fair to say that up to this point, UFC hasn't had the deepest roster at 145 pounds, that at times Amanda Nunes is fighting blown up bantamweights, and the fact that you're very much a legit featherweight is really a topic of conversation entering this fight?
Yeah, I really do think so. And I'm a featherweight that has a lot of power. And that is able to use her range very well. And I think that's something that Amanda hasn't ever fought before. So I think that's something that I'm sure she's prepared for. I'm sure she's not taking that lightly, and I think that's a big X factor in this fight.
Is there any other areas where you think your size can be an advantage? Like, how does this fight look in your eyes when it goes to the ground?
Yeah, obviously Amanda's very good on the ground. She's very heavy on top, so obviously that's not where we want to be. But I think a lot of people, understandably so, just because like I haven't shown the best outing when it does come to the ground. But I think a lot of people are underestimating my wrestling and my grappling.
Understood. You've had wins and losses in the UFC, obvious opportunity at learning. What has been the biggest thing that's helped you grow, whether it was the Holly Holm fight or the Felicia Spencer fight, that's prepared you for this opportunity on Saturday?
Yeah, every fight is an opportunity to grow, and a loss just speeds that process up. So like both of those fights were very different, and I grew in very different ways, not just inside the cage but outside the cage as well. And a lot of my issues have been outside the cage that have like bled into fighting and has affected my performances and my ability to perform. But so that's one thing that I have changed. Like I got out of a lot of toxic environments and toxic situations, and done a lot of work on myself, and have really, done the work outside the cage, which is now paying off inside the cage.
Your name was linked probably in an unfortunate way to a headline, of course, that you were part of over Twitter a few weeks back when Casey Kenny came out and said what he said. You responded. Do you think there should be some type of change, whether it be within the house of the UFC or in the decor in general on social media, and that this unfortunate incident could spark something good?
Yeah. Yeah, I hope that by speaking up, I'm able to instigate a little bit of a change. I think this is a great opportunity for everyone to grow, and set a boundary of what is and what isn't acceptable, and what will and will not be tolerated. I think that there needs to be consequences for anyone, whether it's a fighter saying that type of stuff, or even, I feel like that there is such a entitlement with fans as well, that they feel entitled to say things to fighters that they would never say to their face, but they feel entitled to because it's the internet. And I feel like there needs to be consequences for that. I think that's with anything, with any industry. People need to start being held accountable for the things that they type on the internet, because they would never say it to their face. But if you don't call somebody out for their actions or their words that they type, they're going to keep doing the same thing because it's been ingrained. Oh, I can say whatever I want and no one's going to say anything. So I think we as a society need to start doing better and calling those people out.
It's just odd luck that you both are going to be on the same card this weekend. Is that anything added extra in a good or bad way? Is you able to kind of put all that stuff aside?
No, it's honestly, like, I don't think about it. It happened. It was I brought it up for a topic of conversation. The UFC has spoken to me and reached out to me about it, and he's reached out to me. So in my eyes, it's done. It's finished, and I hope that he can learn and be a better person from going through this situation. And I hope that by bringing it up, I was able to help prevent other people going through similar situations.
Yeah, I appreciate your candid response there. How much are you envisioning what this fight is actually going to look like in terms of who's taking the lead, who, you know, whether it's going the distance, it's going to finish early. How detailed are your thoughts when you envision what is going to happen inside this cage on Saturday?
Yeah, obviously, like I think about it all the time. And I can see the fight going a lot of different ways. I think it's definitely going to be a war of attrition, and I think we are going to bring out the best in each other, which is going to make for an exciting fight.
You know, I started off talking about the betting odds in sort of a joking way, but in terms of overall, do you think you get the respect you deserve for where you're at in your career now and the challenge you are going to provide Amanda on Saturday?
Probably not. Um, but I can kind of understand a little bit. Like, I don't know. I'm just one of those type of people, I can see both sides. So like it doesn't like make me upset or anything. Like, and I can understand, like I didn't necessarily have the best outing against Holly Holm. I did not have a very good outing against Felicia. And then, you know, on the flip side, look at how dominant Amanda has been. So it's understandably so that people are going to think like this. But I don't know. I think a lot of people are underestimating me, and I hope to show them why they shouldn't do that.
Look, where you come from in Australia, it's obviously a huge MMA hotbed at the moment. What has been the reaction like from speaking to your family back home and the media for the buzzing going on with another one from down under getting a shot at UFC gold?
Yeah, it's been refreshingly nice. I get a lot of negativity. I get a lot of hate. You're gonna die, like RIP. So, which is to be expected when fighting someone who is touted to be the greatest female fighter of all time. So I get it. So it's been refreshingly nice. It's kind of surreal for me, honestly, just because I am so far removed from Australia, because I do live in Kansas City now. So you know, I still fly the Australian flag, but you know, I'm not able to see it and the effect of it in person because I'm not living there anymore. But yeah, it's been incredible. It's been very cool.
The Countdown show ahead of this card did a good job of sort of explaining some of that story, how you moved to go after your career, and it's taking you to this point. Looking back at that journey, I think you said what you had a plane ticket and $1,000 to your name and a couple changes of clothes. You know, how hard had that journey gotten at times now that we're basically on the doorstep of everything you worked for?
Yeah, a lot of tears have been shed, that's for sure. Um, it's been very difficult. I have sacrificed a lot to be here. Namely, like I don't ever see my family. Um, that has been the hardest part out of this whole thing, particularly like around, you know, holidays and Christmas time when I see all these families doing things together, and I don't get that. So it has been a big sacrifice, but it has been a necessary sacrifice to be able to achieve what I wanted to achieve.
What do you think is the biggest life applicable lesson you've learned from this whole process?
Oh, God. Never, ever give up. No matter how bad it gets, no matter how impossible it seems, no matter, you know, I've had times where like I didn't know if I was going to be able to pay for food. I didn't know where I was going to be living. I didn't even know if I was going to be able to fight again. I didn't know if the UFC were even going to continue my division. Like, there have been so many moments of not really of there's been so many moments where I could have given up, and a lot of people would have, but I think it's just through sheer stupidity at times, stubbornness, partly being maybe a little crazy. Like I have stuck through it all, and I have gotten through every single challenge because I never gave up. It was never an option to give up. So I think that has been the biggest lesson that I would give to people is no matter what, never give up, and you will always find yourself back on your feet no matter what.
That's some good stuff right there, Megan Anderson. Appreciate you being so introspective ahead of such a big event. UFC 259 on Saturday, your UFC title shot against featherweight queen Amanda Nunes. We wish you the best of luck. It's been great talking to you.
Thank you very much.